Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Before I jump on into today's first look, I do want to mention if you enjoyed the Gaming Gang and would like to support the outlet, you can do so in a few ways. First, by utilizing our affiliate links to the One Bookshelf sites, such as DriveThruRPG, and to do so, simply visit thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banners, and then if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. You can also make a one-time donation by way of PayPal or become a monthly member of our Patreon. You'll find links in the show notes. Also, down in those show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. It's free to sign up, so be sure to hang with the gang over on Discord. I am kicking off another Kobold Press week here at the Gaming Gang by taking a first look at Tales of the Valiant Book of Blades from the aforementioned Kobold Press. This 128-page hardcover is available now, carries an MSRP of $29.99. If you want to grab the PDF, you can do so over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. Having said all that, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Book of Blades for Tales of the Valiant. A couple of things I want to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Kobold Press were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. It's important you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the book, but I do want to give you a really good feel for what you're going to find inside. So let's take a peek at the back. A fight club you'll talk about. A warrior can be so much more than a sword arm and a sack of hit points. Expand combat options for your game with Book of Blades, enjoying the field of battle on land and sea. This collection of player options for the Tales of the Valiant role-playing game adds a wealth of exciting new material for all martial classes, including 14 subclasses, plus new talents, new weapon options, and more. New combat options for every martial class. Rogues, rangers, mechanists, monks, the works. Rules for intense single combat, duels, wrestling matches, and on mounts. In the forge of battle, new heroes are made. Let your martial classes shine. All right, let's take a peek at the credits page, because I know a lot of folks work very hard to bring this to life. Let's give some credit where credit is due. As far as our table of contents, it looks like we've got the first chapter is subclasses and backgrounds. Chapter 2 is martial stories. Chapter 3, equipment and weapon options. Chapter 4, new ways to fight. And then we will wrap up with an appendix, which is character themes. All right, very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a look at each of the subclasses with their backgrounds, and then I'll start skipping pages. But I'm sure a lot of folks out there are very curious about these new subclasses. So the Barbarian is going to get the Frostborn Raider and the Undying Warrior. The Fighter gets Iron Bastion and Skirmisher. Mechanist gets the Clockmaker and the Flesh Smith. The Monk gets the Echoing Soul and the Righteous Fist. The Paladin gets the Ashen Base and Anamnesis or Anamnesis. The Anamnesis Paladin is an oath of heralds and martyrs. Legends have been passed down through the ages, the simple memories of which spur warriors on to feats of heroism. Its adherents are a varied lot, from living embodiments of storybook ideals to cultured warrior scholars learned in the traditions of a dozen languages, to insular knights so steeped in centuries of in-jokes and literary references that they are near incomprehensible to strangers. All are champions of ancient lines, not merely for their memory, but for the virtues and cultural impact they have on the living. Some pretty cool artwork there also. Let's see what else we've got. The Ranger gets the Peerless Scout and the Windsworn. And then we have the Rogue with Thief, Acrobat, and Strategist. And we get into some heritages. Now I'm going to start skipping some pages here. We've got Conscript, Gravekeeper, Judicial Champion, Prodigal. We have new fighting mechanics. So new martial actions, augment effects such as absorbing, auspicious, barring. Then we get into martial stories. Mentors and rivals encircle heroes, helping and hindering in equal measure, yet both serve to advance the story. Who are these crucial figures? So we'll get a breakdown on some inspiration, probably how to create mentors, probably create rivals as well. Yep. So martial rival actions, when and how to kill off a rival. Then we get some samples. And then this looks like soldiers. What is this, building an army or creating an army? Let's see. Downtime. There you go. Downtime activities, raising an army. It's like we've got quite a few pages devoted to that. Studying a foe, training with your mentor. So these are still downtime activities. We've got martial organizations giving us some samples there. The Eternal Vanguard Undead Mercenaries. Huh. Kind of cool. Sudden Tempest Academy. It's a dueling school. The Tower, School of Tactics. So these are still the organizations, it looks like. Now we're getting into equipment and weapon options. Talking about unusual weapons, new weapons, such as the nunchucks, butterfly sword, hook sword, rope dart, boomerang, umbrella. That's kind of cool. Get some new rogue tricks. So these are the weapon options, no doubt. Now we get into mounts. So magic items for mounts. Got a few different items here. Booby traps. So creating booby traps is probably the mechanist can do that. Or, maybe rangers, rogues as well. Arcane punk items. It's got a lot packed into this book. Now, I do understand Book of Blades was a series of PDFs that came out a few years back. They were for 5e Dungeons and Dragons. My assumption is that that information is collected here in this volume. And then, of course, it's been updated for Tales of the Valiant, which, of course, means you can also utilize this book with 5e and 5.5e Dungeons and Dragons. So still in the equipment and weapon options. New ways to fight. The battle rages and you see no end to the challenges before you. After you've exhausted all your known ways to fight, you need new options. So we have some new battle tactics. Become the wall, combat medicine, draw nigh, endure pain. Make my day. You open your guard to an unfortunate target, posing an unpleasant dilemma. Choose one creature you can see within range. It gets advantage on attacks against you. When the creature makes an attack against you, it provokes opportunity attacks from any ally who can make a melee weapon attack against it. When it attacks a creature other than you, it provokes an opportunity attack from you. That sounds interesting. It's like we're getting into ships now. Combat on the high seas. So there we go, naval combat. And as you can see, we've got loads and loads of tables here with stats, as well as probably quite a few random options, especially when we were looking at the subclasses there. Talking about terrain, features by environment, desert, forest, tundra. heroic endowments. Legends tell of the few who stood against many, of warriors blessed with strength beyond all others. Perhaps in a time of strife and war, your PCs rise to become these legends, facing 1,000 foes in combat. If so, consider the following optional rule: heroic endowments. So we have deft movement, fearsome name, hammer of falling stars. We have different technique forms. Get into single combat. This is probably where we'll see the dueling. Yep, there we go, dueling. A duel is a mutually agreed upon fight arranged to settle a dispute between two single combatants. A duel can be to the death. However, more often it is to a certain number of hits or until first blood, allowing combatants to engage in just enough violence to answer whatever insult triggered the duel. To the first pain. Trial by combat. Then we get our character themes: agile assassin, horse archer, mercenary sellsword, got a beast master, warrior of faith, witty acrobat. That will wrap up a peek inside Tales of the Valiant Book of Blades. We've got our Labyrinth rule book and adventures there, and of course our core rule books for Tales of the Valiant. Very nice. So that is a peek inside Book of Blades for Tales of the Valiant from Kobold Press. I will have a review of this in the not too distant future. As I started off this video, I mentioned that this is another Kobold Press week here at the Gaming Gang. So we're kicking it off with this first look at Book of Blades. We're also going to be taking a peek at Dungeons Deep. On Thursday, November 13th, I will do a live first look at the new role-playing game, Riverbank, from Kobold Press. That will be on the Gaming Gang Dispatch, which will air at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then later on this weekend, I will have a review for Monster Vault 2. So lots of Kobold Press goodies that we're going to be taking a peek at, and I'll be talking about all week long. All right, that is it for this time out. If you liked the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it's supposed to notify you not only when I share videos such as this first look, it'll also let you know when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.